Hey there, and welcome back to the 102nd edition of the Bright Ideas Daily Nugget. I am your host, Trent Dyrsmid, and this is the video where I answer your questions about e-commerce as well as share with you, kind of by giving you a look over my shoulder, my experience of my journey as we grow our e-commerce, our Amazon e-commerce business, and soon to be our non-Amazon e-commerce business, from the 3 to 4 million that we'll hit in 2018 towards our goal of 10 million bucks, just as fast as we can get there. So as I promised a couple of videos ago, I said that I wanted to give you an update on WEBS. So if you don't know what WEBS is, it's my wholesale e-commerce business system, and really fast. What that is when we started this business 2 years ago, because I believe that every business process should be documented, I, of course, obsessively documented everything. And then I hired VAs to be able to use those standard operating procedures. And that allowed us to go from 0 to 100 grand a month in just 5 months. And so we have documented processes for sourcing and shipping and product listing optimization and advertising and HR and finance, and like Amazon account health and every other darn thing you could ever think of. Every department you think that a business, a third-party seller would have, we have documented processes for that. And then I gave a speech at a conference a couple of years ago, and I was talking about all these systems, which weren't a product at that point in time. And afterwards, I was bombarded with people asking all the same question. Would you sell us a copy of those systems? So I said, yeah, I guess we could try that. And so WEBS, which is the acronym Wholesale E-commerce Business Systems, was born. And since then, we've sold almost $1 million worth in the first 6 months. So that surprised the hell out of me, to say the least. So WEBS has now become a pretty big thing. Hundreds and hundreds of people have bought it and they love it. And we've made a profound impact on people's businesses who've really taken advantage of the horsepower that WEBS can add to their business. And to be clear, this is not a training course. This is standard operating procedures. It's a plug and play. It's you just start using them as you need them every single day in your business. So our next launch of WEBS is going to be coming up in late September. It could shift a week either way, but that's the goal, late September. And some pretty big changes. We are moving from the current software platform into a software platform that I own. And that software platform shall remain nameless for the moment, just because I don't want everybody going to the website and trying to sign up for it yet, because we're still in beta. We've actually, as of 2 weeks ago, transitioned our internal operations from the old platform, which I didn't own, to the new platform. So we use it. We use our own software in-house now. In the next week or so, we're going to do a soft beta launch, and that'll run for about 30 days or so, and probably 10-ish of our customers are going to probably switch. Well, not probably, they're going to switch over and they're going to use it, and they're going to make sure that if we find any bugs or whatever, we'll fix them. So the reasons for that are more control, better customization, not as much dependency on Zaps, because when we did our first launch, we gave all of our Zapier templates to how to connect all the apps, and I thought it'd be really easy, but honestly, people couldn't figure out how to do it, and it was a big problem for our help desk. We nearly drowned. So in the second launch, we took all the Zaps out. They weren't critical, but they were a nice to have. They're kind of like icing on the cake. And so now, and while we'll still have a Zapier integration for this upcoming launch, the goal is, and it probably won't happen for this launch, but the goal is to pre-build for you some of these integrations so you don't have to make Zaps. So that basically all you do is you authorize this app to connect to this app, and boom, that's it. That's all you have to do. So when we didn't own the software app, of course, we can't do that because we don't have any access to the code base. But now we do. Custom features. So like every software company that starts to pile on customers, you get feature requests. So I'm really keen to see what you guys start asking for. And of course, because we own the code base, we're going to be able to take the most popular of those feature requests and turn them into actual features in the software, which I think will be really cool. From my perspective, moving the business WEBS into our own software app gives me a whole nother way to generate cash from the monthly fees, obviously, because I wasn't getting those before. And more importantly is the value of that company. So let's fast forward a year or two, and let's say we've got a couple $1 million a year coming in, software companies are valued, 6 to 10x their revenue, at least at this point in time. So if I have a company that's doing, say, $2 million a year, well, guess what? That sucker's worth, $15 to $20 million if I sold it. That's a big pile of money, which if I don't own a software company, I don't really get that big pile of money. And I kind of like big piles of money. So that is my own selfish reason for wanting to put it in our own software. And then there's some pretty significant growth opportunities. So, the platform is built to be a platform for people to build standard operating procedures, SOPs, standard operating procedures. And you can go and build anything you want. You can create it from scratch. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, doesn't matter what business you're in. So of course, some people are going to find it and they're going to use it. But we're also going to expand into other niches, our done for you systems, so that we can create, WEBS for people maybe who are insurance. It wouldn't be called WEBS, but you get the idea. It's this pre-made body of standard operating procedures. So as an example, a friend of mine owns a couple of State Farm agencies. So let's say he decides he's going to take his time and effort and document all of his procedures inside WEBS, and his agency starts to perform exceedingly well relative to other agencies, which it kind of already is. Well, don't you think the mothership of State Farm would look at that and they go, well, why is that agency performing so much better than all the other ones? And he says, and they ask him, and he says, well, I've got all these standard operating procedures, and it's really improved our efficiency, because that's what SOPs do. And we're streamlined, and we never make mistakes, and we're more profitable and fewer errors. And then he introduces me to State Farm, and I said, well, how'd you like to do a nationwide licensing deal? Well, what happens there? So the guy that created the standard operating procedures, I give him a whole bunch of money because I'm going to license his content. But what do I get? Like thousands of users all at one time, paying $15 to $30 a month per user, or whatever the fee that we negotiate is. That's a good deal, right? Very good deal. So that can make that company worth tens of millions of dollars. So these are all of the reasons that I'm getting into the software business. It's also just another way of diversifying my stream of income. I like to have multiple streams of income. So right now we have our Amazon business, we have WEBS, we have real estate. We're going to have money from the software company, and then the National Motorsports Owners Association, which I'll talk about in 2 more videos from now, is going to be a 3rd stream of income. And I'll probably stop there. I think that's 4 or 5 streams of income, and that's going to be more than enough to keep us busy. But the benefit of that is, if any one of those streams of income, dries up or stops or whatever, we're mitigating that risk by having more than one. That's the crappiest part about having a job. It's a single stream of income. It takes all of your time because you're trading time for money. And if you get fired, or laid off, which happens from time to time, it stops. Your stream of income it stops, and it's very stressful for people in that environment. So I'm a huge proponent of developing as many streams of income for yourself as possible, because that's what it means to be a successful entrepreneur. All right, so that's my update on WEBS. If you'd like to ask me questions about pretty much anything, you can do that by going to Brightideas.co/asktrent. You could also become a subscriber, and then when I send out a notification for one of my free monthly webinars where I do Q&A, you could come to the webinar and you can ask me questions in real time. Also, when you become a subscriber, you would get notifications of future videos like this one. You'd get notifications of future podcast interviews, and I've got some killer podcast interviews coming up. I always do, because I don't interview people who aren't interesting. And you will also have the opportunity to join either our free or paid mastermind groups, where you can network and hang out and build relationships with other e-commerce entrepreneurs. And guess what? That's a really smart thing to do, because you want to hang out with people that are doing the same thing as you, that have the same goals as you have. And like I said in video number 100, the importance of telling people what you want. In those groups, you can also tell people what you want, and maybe there's somebody in those groups that has the opportunity to assist you in some way, shape, or form. But if you're not talking to them and you're not telling people what you want, you're trying to succeed in a bubble, which is not a good idea. So, I guess we're done. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave me some comments. Let me know, because otherwise I'm just talking to a camera, and how do I know if you're even having fun or learning stuff? So, tell me. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video soon. Take care. Bye.